Yeah, but okay. So let me put it to you like this. I've said this on other podcasts. If you lined up every man on the planet and you took them and you put them in a room and you said, "Hey, listen, nobody's in here. It's just us. You can hit this button and you can love your wife, be an amazing father, sleep with as many as you want, and then go home and hold your wife or have sex with your wife and hold her at night. All you have to do is hit this button, and everybody will be cool with that." Every man would look left, he'd look right, make sure nobody's in the room, and he'd hit the fucking button.
I feel like every woman would do exactly the same.
No, that's what we call
I don't think they would. I don't think they would.
No,
No, I don't.
That's
Because
what
if a
I
woman
wanted to
really loves
ask
you,
you,
she
though.
doesn't wanna
What do
sleep
you
with other
guys
men.
get from thinking that women don't have exactly the same thing? The same level of
we aren't exactly
desires.
the same.
But we're we're chemically we're biologically different. Like women release a chemical during sex that men don't. So like I think it's oxytocin. Yeah. So we equate sex to love.
Yeah.
Where
No,
men,
we don't.
Well, I mean,
it's just a lie.
Well, I think,
women have desires in exactly the same way.
Every girl I know that's done that like doesn't have that feeling anymore. It's because she slept with too many dudes. But early on, like, dude, she lost her virginity to, second guy she slept with, like, she was very attached to.
I agree with you, but could we not say the same for men? Could we not say if you had men and they had only slept with two women, they may have that same chemical attachment. I love that woman, and the more vaginas that they went into, the less they valued it, and that could be the same.
Difference is,
I do think at some level, like, that does happen. Like, I think if a dude sleeps with say 100 girls, 200 girls, like I do think it impacts your ability to bond. Not like you can't bond in the same way you did when you were a virgin.
How dare you?
But I don't think. But it's not. If you look at the numbers, when you rate marital happiness based on sexual partners, if a woman has had sex with more than 5 people, her chance of a happy marriage in 10 years goes from 80% as a virgin to 25%.
And where are these stats from?
They survey people. They just ask.
And who would they survey?
So can I finish?
There's so many
I need
different
to finish
biases.
the stats. So the thing is with men, it actually their marital happiness increase. It's the highest as a virgin, so I do think that's the ideal. But it increases, like, their marital happiness increases at like 8 partners. So they're like more satisfied with their wife.
The men are happy 8 partners.
Yeah, men are more happy. So it's just more evidence that we're biologically different. But yeah, go ahead.
I don't think it's evidence. I just think there's like surveys and stats to. Everything.
Well, do you guys, the women in the room, then, do you I mean, not necessarily talking about you personally, but do you think conceivably you agree with this idea then that if a woman could press this button and she could sleep with as many guys as she wanted but still go home to her husband, that she'd be up for that? Do you think most women would buy into that?
If you eliminate like shame in society,
if
he was able to do that, then yes.
It's not going to be as many as men, because it's not going to be as many, it's going to be quality. So if you could press a button and nobody would know, there would be certain people that you would be like, I would absolutely sleep with that guy.
Here we
absolutely go. It's not going to be the level of any hole was a goal. It's not that.
This is bingo. But I think, sorry to interrupt.
I was just going to say, this is sorry.
What I was going to say really quickly is that I think the difference is that the man you want to come home to will change each time. But with us, it's the same woman. Yep. Because you're going to sleep around, like you just said a second ago, right? Oh, he's amazing. I definitely want the chance to go sleep with him.
Yeah.
And then, but I got to come back home to this same schlub who's letting me cheat on a bunch of...
The rules are the same.
No, they're not the same.
No, but in this
I'm not saying the rules are different. I'm saying men's and women's interpretations of that are completely different biologically.
I hear what you're saying. You're firmly fixed on this whole idea that when a woman sleeps with a man, there's going to be this chemical bond.
Not necessarily. No. But if you find, let's just use. Let's just use.
I was coming to.
That's actually true. That's totally true.
That's true.
But let's just say, for example, like let's just purely use numbers to make it easy, right?
Uh-huh.
Let's say your husband is a 5.
Yeah.
Right. Just arbitrarily. I don't know who the man. I'm just throwing numbers out for arbitrary sake. Let's say he's a 5, right? And then this rule comes into place.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. You meet handsome producer over here who's like a 9, right?
Okay.
You're like, all right, bang, and then you have to come home to him.
Yeah.
Who's a 5. You're like, oh fuck. Okay, cool. And then the next day, you do the same thing again, and the next day, do the same thing again. The next day, the same thing again. Eventually, you're like, I don't want to keep coming home to this motherfucker. I want to come home for that motherfucker.
Right, and you're saying that is very different for men.
Men don't feel that way.
Totally different.
Oh, okay.
Totally, I can.
That's
I
why
could be in
there
love-
aren't men that
I
like
could be-
leave their wives for a secretary. That doesn't happen.
Well, they do because
Okay.
the reason they do though is because the secretary is giving them something that the wife isn't giving them.
Okay,
And
so
that's
it's
and
not
that
on
is
the
in
man
most
doing
cases
something.
the secretary is giving him peace.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yep. Can I?
Lots of caveats. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
That's
Can I add
sorry,
to
Justin.
that?
Go on.
Also, what you said is very important. He leaves to marry the secretary. So what he's going to do there is he could sleep with a woman. We'll call her a lady. And go home to his wife
Progress.
every night. Yeah, we're getting there. Let's get it, girl. Dude, I don't hate women at all. I love women. But what you notice is that he is now going to love that girl. So if he leaves his wife, which is probably aged and all those other things, if I'm being honest, and he's probably leaving her for a woman that probably looks up to him. If it's their secretary, he's in a power position with her.
She respects it because he's in a power position.
The other one's at the country club, doesn't respect him the same way.
Spends all his money.
Nags, not happy. And so he leaves, and notice what he does, though. He marries her. Guess what? He's still sleeping with ladies. And he wants to come home to the second wife. And he probably loves her. I fell in love at least twice in my life.
Yeah, he's just changed the queen, right? And people, I think the fact that guys and women, I suppose, but the fact that guys will fall out of love with the queen, as we're saying here, is, I think, a slightly separate issue to this desire to.
It is.
It is different.
Well, it's
It is
because men and women fall in love in different ways. Like men fall in love through like quality time and loyalty, where women fall in love through sex. So if you have sex, like, haven't you ever heard? You've never heard the term dickmatized?
Yeah, but that's not love.
It's not love. You're just literally like you like
You
the
wanna learn
pee.
about that?
Yeah, it's just lust. Just like how men have lust. It's exactly the same
I
way.
would argue that's how women feel love is like when they're like okay, I'll give you a story. Okay,
Go.
so there was a girl I went to college with, and you would never know. This is like the girl next door. Okay, she dated a guy freshman year of college. They dated for like a month. Okay, they broke up. He dumped her. Whatever. Like he was the player, right? She gets with a guy her senior year. This man buys her a house. She's like, gives her everything she ever wants, a ring, whatever, down the line. I went to a party with this girl, okay? And at that party, I saw her walk out of the bathroom after she'd been in there for like 20, 30 minutes because we were like waiting to go with the guy from freshman year. Who does she love?
Who does she love? I would have to ask her. But who is she going to settle with?
She was still sleeping with the guy from freshman year.
Yeah,
For years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Right.
oh, and the crazy
That's
thing.
not love.
No,
That's
because
not
the
love.
sex
That's
was
lust.
good.
It's
Yeah.
not- It's a habit.
No,
it's an attachment, but that doesn't make it love.
Women don't cheat on men they love.
Yeah.
They do not do it.
okay.
They don't.
And they don't cheat on men they
But the thing
respect.
is, you know what? If you guys actually literally believe this, like I just think
I
that
live this.
women must be taking the piss.
Hey, have you considered this? Maybe you're taking the piss because you believe something that's never going to happen.
No,
As in-
what do you mean? In what
Like,
scenario?
I
Sorry.
think a lot of times women find themselves very, very upset and feeling alone and went through a bunch of men and unhappy, single, no kids, cat boxes, box wine, Netflix, alone because they bought the dream that Prince Charming was going to come on a horse and be rich and be handsome and be tall and not fuck a bunch of ladies.
I hear what you're saying,
Speaking
and I
to the
think
mic.
that is the reality for unfortunately for a lot of women, because we are socialized to have this romantic notion of relationships and that this Prince Charming is going to come and that sort of thing, but at the same time, especially like someone my age and like just seeing the women around me, that kind of filters out. Like the way we've been socialized, it's just not the reality anymore. We can see the smoke. We can see through the smoke. We
You can
know
see you've
what
been
it
lied to
is.
your whole life.
Yeah,
Right. Yeah,
exactly.
you have.
But no, we
Which is
have
true.
been.
You have
and,
been
and,
lied
that, and
to.
that's the thing. And I think that a lot of women are waking up to this fact that actually this is a myth. This is nonsense. Like
Yeah.
that's never going to happen. So what you're
Then
saying
why
to
aren't
me
women
is just,
settling?
Why are they settling?
No, why aren't they?
No,
If
but
we're-
women are settling. That's why
that's not
divorce
true
rates are
statistically.
freaking
That's
so
not
high.
No, that's not true. Like half of women over 30 are single and childless.